Good to know that we are on this journey together of creating better relationships, thriving relationships. I think I usually say it so many times when I have these sessions, and I say that we are here on earth to thrive. And I believe that the blueprint of God and how he created everything that we are supposed to do and have and everything, it's a blueprint of thriving. We are the only ones that stand in our own way if we don't know the truth that sets us free. And that is why we do some of these shows, some of these podcasts, to be able to highlight on some of those truths, and then to be able to show you what is possible, and to be able to show you that you can actually make it. So if you want a good marriage, if you want a lasting marriage, if you want a happy relationship, that is something attainable. No one should tell you otherwise, that it is not achievable. It is achievable. All right. And today we
someone asked me that you guys ever fight. Yes, we do fight
a lot.
We fight a lot. But then after the fights we bond more. So
even better.
Yeah, even better. So the fights are normal.
They are everywhere,
but we fight fair. And then from the start of the fight we know that we're going to reconcile.
Yeah. Like, how do you even, like, that fight is an already defeated fight.
Exactly.
By the time you start fighting, but in your mind you're like this is ending in this is where it is ending.
Exactly.
And I think communicating that early in life for us, and setting that foundation for us early in life, that
addressed so many things in the future. It addressed
so many things.
So it's just like people make fights strange. That's why fights become so adversary and complicated and hurting and everything, because,
and then because
at that point you're fighting to win or to make a point. Yes. Yet in a relationship we don't fight to make a point. We don't fight to win. We fight to reconcile and compromise to something agreeable to both of us. It's just like in partnership in business. If the business is to thrive, you don't keep breaking it. And the only way you thrive with your partners in a business is you reconcile your differences. Where you think one of your partners is extravagant, is hurting the company in his expenses, you trim that, and in a fair way.
For the betterment, like you fight like you are on the same team. You're not fighting like adversaries. Like, I want to hurt you and I want to bring you down and I want to see you dead. It's more like I want to put my point across and I want it to be understood. And can I give the other person grace to do the same?
And then number two, in a partnership, you communicate interest.
Yes.
We have common interests in as far as this business is concerned. When I succeed, you succeed. When you succeed, I succeed. When you win, I win. When I win, you win. So it's the same in a marriage, that we have a partnership, and this partnership is to stay. So we should fight fair. That point in time and in life where we'll disagree on things, it could be in finances, it could be in parenting,
children,
it could be a variety of things where we will have our own differences. Okay, for example, me and my wife, we've been arguing about Asahel going to school, and the thing is, the common interest here, Asahel must go to school. So we put that ahead of everything. So what we do is to reconcile our differences. I feel like he's still young. She feels he's ready. I feel like it should be too early, 5 a.m. to get my kid in a car to school.
I feel like he can be resilient.
Exactly. So what we do is we reconcile those differences.
With a common ground, we know this is the outcome we want.
The kid must go to school. So even when it comes to finances, it's the same thing. That while we argue, while we fight, while we disagree, it's with an end in mind. So it is a fair fight. And I'm not just trying to prove a point. You're not just trying to prove a point to me. You're not here to win. I'm not here to win. We are here to win together. Like, so a partner at business, marriage at home, and I use the business side of it.
To explain better, to illustrate.
Yes, because most of you will give your life to understand. You actually go to school to understand how to have a thriving partnership in a business.
And they fail at marriage.
To miserably fail.
At marriage.
At marriage.
And they're the same concepts.
Yeah.
They should
The only
be
difference
better.
here is, one is a glass ball and the other one is a rubber ball. But then to you, what annoys me is the rubber ball is given more attention than the glass ball. So it feels like your business, your work, because it pays the bills, is more important
to understand
than the marriage. I don't agree with you. I completely disagree with you. So differences will be there. So someone asked, do you guys fight? Yes, the answer is we do. Do we disagree? Yes, we do. We do disagree.
But we disagree as a team.
Exactly. We will still work together as a team because we agreed from start.
We'll still disagree and pray together.
Yeah, we have something to accomplish. We have our goals.
And it's ongoing. It has to happen.
Yeah, you lose more when you put the most important things at risk. You lose more when you lose your family.
That's true.
More than you'll ever lose when you lose a business or a job.
So let's give it attention. And today we want to talk about, because even the aspect of fighting and all that, there's also femininity. And there is a lot, people have been throwing the word around so much, but I believe that femininity has a lot of good traits, and actually all of it as femininity is good. When you find a woman that is feminine, that is in a real sense of a woman, the way God created them, with that softness and nurturing and the presence, and like it's who our mothers were, and it's who we've seen. So there's so many women that are that today, but again we have a huge fraction of women that have been indoctrinated otherwise and have been programmed otherwise, that you must be a fighter, you must be a hustler, you exert yourself, you must be fighting for everything. And so they're bringing a lot of masculine energy into relationships and into marriages, and it's backfiring, terribly backfiring. And until they are able to find their spot and their place in a relationship and in a marriage, they are going to go from one to another, blaming everyone for their heartbreak and blaming everyone for their not feeling well, because most of the times the hustlers will always feel like they have to fight for everything, even the happiness, they have to fight for it, not knowing that as a partnership, there is being fair, there is extending grace, there is you being present, there is you being soft, and taking away the anger and being able to work things out. So we want to look at those, to highlight some of them, the feminine traits that are quite irresistible. And men have highlighted these things for so long. They're like, a woman who is like this, you cannot, a woman who is like this. And you feel, even when the man is termed as bad or as good, they will always know a feminine woman when they see one.
At what point did a woman turn into that? I think probably before we dive into what we want from the women, we should also understand why they ended up that way. How did they become that masculine? Because, trust me, there is nothing feminine about a woman riding a boda. There's nothing feminine about a woman being a conductor. Okay, whether you like it or not, she will have to push you. The energy has to be different. She has to train muscle to push, fight for herself. You understand?
Speak on top of her voice.
Yes, when she's calling a passenger, you're taking her passenger, she has to push you and say, "Mwana liko muntu wange mlete eno." So she has to, because now there's an introduction of an era that I would say is foreign to us men, because we didn't know our women to be that, but because certain conditions and situations forced them to become that. So they're exuding the kind of energy simply because life has dictated it that way. So when you find, I think I was giving you an example, was it yesterday? I don't remember the day. We were almost talking about something similar, not exactly the same thing, but the workspace and how women, in a bid to try and provide for themselves and their families, have gone out of their way to do things that are unimaginable. Why? Because he is the father, is the mother, is being both, okay, and has dependents and has no choice but to make sure that she fends for her family. Now, that was a place for a man. A man fought out there all day, got back home into freshness, loving arms, softness, and goodness. Now, when we go back home, we find fellow men. They have also been fighting, hustling.
I know.
So there is no softness.
Even the skin.
Buliwokwata wakaluba. N'ebigambo bikaluba.
Oh Lord.
N'okuba empiba kuba.
I know.
Yeerabira kubanga abadde avuga boda olunaku lwonna.
I know.
Bw'omugera oyinza okuwuliraga mbadde nsonyiwa honey baby. Naye nga
akuwadde bro.
So at what point does a woman become a woman? Yeah. When her life has flipped to what is okay, not normal.
Yeah.
Or not normal.
Yeah.
As in
it's abnormal.
It's not common. It's not been like that. You know. These days you walk into a room, okay, and a woman can argue out a case better than a man. She can do fact find and prove her case and negotiate a deal better than a man. All those things now women are doing. Now, at what point does her life, at what point does she strike that difference to understand that my life out there and my life at home should be different? Totally different. At home, I'm a mother and a wife to Mr. Sabiti. Yeah. Out there, I'm a go-getter, I'm a fighter.
And that is the reconciliation that so many people have failed to.
And I think that's what we should try to address. Because whether I like it or not, in this day and age, it's almost impossible to find my mother.
That's true.
It's almost impossible. Okay? Yes. And we agree that we're evolving.
Yeah. Things are changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a fact of life that if you are telling me right now that after I've taken Ariella through our education system that should be a housewife, I will not agree with you. That's not
going to happen. Yeah.
As a must, I will train and teach her and orient her on working. From home, I'll teach her how to work.
That's true.
When I'm going to my office, I'll take her with me. I'll show her that this is how money is made.
Yeah.
And that's how I pay the bills. I'll introduce her to that kind of life.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll be sending her to school. So I don't expect my daughter at the end of the day
to become a housewife or doormat.
To be my mother.
Yeah, to be
my mother was that because
generations have changed.
Yes, things were much easier.
Things have evolved.
So how do we reconcile those two? That a woman can still be soft,
respectful, cooperating. That means
after the hustle and bustle.
It goes back to a choice.
After the hustle and bustle. Because let me tell you, Hilda, that thing is tough.
It is.
Most especially when it comes to women. It is tough. The reason as to why we've branded most of them alpha females, and most of them are not married today. It's because they fail to reconcile the two. Yeah. She's a CEO. She's the top boss of a multi-billionaire company. She takes the orders. Everyone bows down to her. Men.
She calls the shots.
Men. You understand? Okay? Call her Madam. Yes, ma'am.
Boss.
Boss. You understand? Yeah. And now she has to go back to her
home.
To her husband. And say, my lord. To her husband.
And it also matters.
And go to the kitchen. And go to the kitchen. And go to the kitchen and fix a glass of juice and serve the husband for him. And cook a nice meal for him. Or
check on the children.
Exactly.
Find out what's happening in their lives.
And keep herself. Very hard.
But again,
to reconcile those two lifestyles,
it is not a myth. It's not a myth that it's not achievable. That's the thing that at least we should be able to highlight, that we cannot achieve the version of our mothers. We cannot, because they did not work. They stayed within the home, and so they did everything that they were supposed to do. In this age and era, even after the evolving and the changing of generations, not everything is lost, and not all hope is lost.
Hilda, what you're not saying here, what I'm saying without saying is, this lady that is powerful, and you know what they say about power, it corrupts.
Yeah.
Trust me, it is a tough job for her to reconcile her life out there as a boss and home, submitting to a woman, to a man who earns less, tata wabana, you understand? But who probably cannot even afford the school fees. The woman buys the car, fuels the car.
If it's a contribution, you're taking it to the extreme.
And let me tell you, it is even worse. Now I'm giving you I'll give you all the versions, Hilda. I'll give you the version of that kind of woman, that CEO, loaded, rich, a boss, a decision maker at her workplace, and at home must be a wife to a guy gwasinza sente. That's one version. Gwasinza sente mubuli chimu. Nenyumba gye basulamu. The woman probably provided or contributed 70% to the construction of the house. Okay? The car that they drive or the cars that they have in the compound, 70% contributed by the woman. You understand? School fees, she probably contributes 70% of it. So your contribution is like 30, almost on everything. And you know it. That's one version. The other version is she is this powerful and the man is this powerful. And even that is even worse. Do you know why? Because when a woman gets home, he assumes obviously that you're a threat to him because you're almost equals. You're like equals.
So you start bickering and fighting.
You fight about even a spoon.
Everything.
This man wants to show you
that I'm the one with the power.
That I am the one with the power. I'm the one who's paying the bills here. I don't mind whether you're a boss there. Wakiri omulimu guteko mawa ko tule.
That's why I said it's also dependent on the man.
Anti nkulaga all of that because the man onogwenjo geddeko who contributes 30%, if a woman is understanding, can easily reconcile with this man and they'll have a very good marriage. Tougher when the the woman is like at 80%, the man is here. For example, the man makes 30 million a month, the woman makes 20. A woman who makes 20 million, the difference of 10 million.
Wants to show you fire. And that's why I'm saying.
So the issue here is the issue here is at what point does this woman become soft?
At what point?
At what
now
point
let's
does she
highlight those points because the points are there. That there is no fulfillment for a woman, any woman, for as long as you cannot be feminine, because that is just not a natural state of functionality for you.
Absolutely.
That is a survival mode for you. And you cannot thrive in a survival mode. That is why these days they are actually seeking for spaces where they can be toned down, where they can be intentional. You know, and make a sober choice that indeed I am not happy. If I want to get back to being happy, there are certain things I must be able to accept, even when they are very hard.
I will too say, so I want us to dive deep into what are those things that a woman must accept in order for her to tone down and give the man the opportunity to enjoy you as a
feminine woman. Yep.
Help me. I want to, what are some of the things? Because I've highlighted mine. She's the boss. She's everything. She's the Lord out there. But she must become a woman at home. So what are some of the things that she needs to tone down for her to be received as Mama Joshua, my pride, my wife, my woman that I will die for? That I genuinely respect and love. What are some of the things that she needs to tone down?
Let's begin with number one that men usually say and women don't understand what they mean. Respect. Because when a woman loses her femininity, she goes into an argumentative mode. And it's always bashing words against word. You give me a spear, I will give you a spear. I will even give you two. Because I know how to use my tears, I know how to use my voice, I know how to use. So you are scattering
yourself. Number one is respect.
The moment you can conquer yourself, and that is conquering yourself, that means there is a beast in you that has been nurtured and has been fed with power. And that beast needs to be conquered with being subdued all the time. That when that beast is trying to put their head out and you feel like kusoza, you feel like to respond in the same manner, you feel like, because remember, the one that you left at home as a man has been hurt. You get it? Now, he has been bruised. He doesn't know what it means to be respected. And now you have to come as a submarine and pour cold water on yourself and be able to agree to respect this person.
Yeah.
That means you listening sometimes without responding. That means you taking insults because now he had already been trained to also start firing back. Yes. So now he's firing and now you're saying ceasefire.
Yep.
You're raising a white flag and he has a red flag up there. And you're saying, you know what? I must be able to bring order in my home. That is a choice that you make.
So
you with clenched teeth, with a fist, but unfisting and fisting and unfisting and fisting. And that is why we say sometimes that journey needs help and external help to a person you can be accountable to.
I like. So number one is respect.
Yes.
And I'll tell you for a fact, if I'm not respected in my own home,
Yeah.
and I've said this before, out there, the world can choose to disrespect us.
Call you anything.
Okay? At least I should be respected in my own home.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want to run back home to a woman who will make me feel accepted and loved. And of course, respected. So the respect is very key. I mean, ask any man. Actually, our top two is respect and peace. I think peace will be your number two.
You mentioned acceptance. Acceptance is very key.
Very key. But to us, respect is really key.
Yeah.
Really, really key. And I know that respect is two-way. If a man has not been disrespectful to you, respect him. Respect is earned. If I've done everything to earn my respect, you could be earning more money than me.
Yep.
It's possible you make a lot of money. And I've told some of the men that have come to me and I've said, I'm being disrespected in my home because my woman makes more money than me.
Yeah.
And I've told them, one of the ways you're going to respect yourself enough is draw a budget.
Yeah.
Live in a house that you can afford. Okay.
Yeah.
Take a boda if you must. But you know, she has two cars in the compound. They are her cars. If she showed you
that these are mine,
zimulekere. That's how you respect yourself. If you feel they are your cars, you drive them.
So
I
that
can jump on a border.
disrespect.
I will respect myself enough to work with my budget. That means my children will go to a school I can afford.
Yeah, medical care.
I'll go to where I can afford. I will not depend on your pocket.
Yeah.
Because you've disrespected me and called me trash and thrown me out there.
Both in words and actions.
Yes, so I'll accept my place and work within my means.
Now,
so when you are saying we have to go to this kind of hospital, I'll tell you is a sentence, Sizirina.
To hang out at such a place.
Sizirina. I will respect myself enough.
And that will tone down a woman to ask herself.
So respect.
Where am I? Yeah.
Is key.
Respect.
My point being,
key.
respect is
yeah. And definitely, when someone, when you talked about acceptance, I felt that was quite a note, because acceptance means there are so many women that are out there, but they are in a pending mode. Yeah, it feels like they are not married, but they are married. Like it's like a shadow man in their life. You get it? They are not content. They don't have peace. They are, but at work, yes, they are cranking the numbers and the money is coming in. But at home, there is no peace. In their personal lives, there is no peace and there is nothing. Now, in you coming back and accepting and saying, you know what? Henry. Know where Henry way? Joab. Name whatever your husband's name is. And you're like, you know what? This is the man in my life. The only way you can respect him is accepting him. that I am not, I think we've talked about it sometimes, how you see some girls or even in relationships, you go to a restaurant, but the girl is looking around. He has come with a man, but he's looking around. Now, most women... Exactly, exactly. Like she's still searching. She's like, oh no, Ali, but in case a better one comes. Now, most women that, because at home things are not well, they're in a constant state of running.
And you know, usually the woman, before she was introduced to the work arena or to more money or to exposure in her life, you were the alpha and the omega.
Yeah.
And she was content until she saw more. Sometimes men have said, I don't want my woman exposed because there lies the risk of losing her. Because how people handle change is different. Change comes
with a lot of unpredictable.
And in most cases, people change after there's been an introduction of a new era or life. And in most cases, it shouldn't be a shock. But the beauty, I mean, the ugly bit of it, or the ugly part about it is the one left behind never takes a step. They stay in shock all their lives. So some women, because these are the stories, and these are real stories, true stories, a man will tell you, she was a woman before I started the business for her. The moment I opened up that boutique, then
I lost her.
I lost her. Now she feels she's more than me. She makes more money than me. And those are the real statements, by the way. She feels she's bigger than me. She feels she can do it on her own. She feels now choyogedeko acceptance. The woman is struggling with level jatu seko and where she was. She has failed to reconcile those two worlds. She feels like, where have I been all my life?
But do you know the element missing there? Gratefulness.
Auntie, hakati, sober people. I'm talking about a woman.
I know.
Okay, you're right.
They don't think about it.
I've lived all my life in Chiboga, and all of a sudden, it is irresistible for me to look at all these lights. The question is, at what point do I take my eyes off these lights and know that there is a life after these lights? How do I reconcile this constant they're calling for my attention to reality that I must cross the road, or I have a family to take care of, or I have a husband, or I have a wife, or I have... At what point? Because it happens in both worlds. Even men, when they're introduced to that dimension of they will feel like, nah, I think I deserve another woman. I think it's happened.
It has happened
where
so many times.
it's like
gets more money, gets a new job.
So it's in both worlds.
Both sides,
where they fail to reconcile the two. That you know, because what would have happened? Gratefulness here says that it's my time to celebrate with them. They were there for me when I had nothing, when we slept in a one room or a bedroom or one kamat, and now I am here. Wow, the only person that deserves to the
spotlight.
Yes, it's this one. You understand? Now kati abasinga obungi, and mu bakyala it's even more painful. As I said, most men who've been insecure, it's because they have seen their friends. They're like, what I saw happening to so and so. Njagala mukazi wange okola naye agire nga akyali awaka. Kubanga man bwentuli obulamu bwa gundi completely. The woman went crazy. That meant she got the exposure. She went
Nagula
crazy.
kamotoka.
Hey, she went crazy.
Hey, she was everywhere.
Hey, she went crazy. Asula wa maka. So some of these things are as real as
real can be.
So acceptance here is key.
Yeah.
But at what point do we reconcile these two differences or these two lifestyles?
Yeah.
The one that the previous and the new. Because a woman gets a new job, all of a sudden she has a driver. Okay, she's traveling. Okay, these are things that she has never seen in her life.
Yeah.
Never seen in her life. It's her first time to get on a plane. She's sleeping in a 5-star hotel. All those things are new and strange. And
they attract so many things.
And say, you understand, all of a sudden, padiem, jafuna, these are things that are real, happening in real life. You understand? When that woman starts praising her boss and her work more than home, it's understandable.
It's going.
The only thing is,
when do you catch yourself?
At what point do you get back to your senses? And so I think I'm throwing out the most important thing.
Yeah, for stones.
For something that can, because you have that job today.
And tomorrow you'll not have
it. May not be there. And you still have to go back to this family. Yeah. And you still have to depend on that kasala or kasalary.
Cover donyoma.
You understand?
That's why I said it's an individual choice. And not all people wake up.
And
some people, those that wake up never wake up at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own time interval when they hit when the reality hits. And some of them reality hits, I think we've said it so many times when we're in these couple sessions, and you're like, why? I think there's a particular time you told me, do you see how the woman was behaving? It's because where she had banked her hope, it has been taken away, and now she's running back to her family, but the family that she had already stirred up and spoiled.
Yeah.
You get it?
And I remember very well what I said.
Yes.
She's running back to a man who has already left the Adaka spot.
Exactly. You hope that you're going to find him where you left him. But
then, afunye companion yomwenge.
Exactly.
Bamalaya. Group, maybe that. And feels.
Leave me alone this side. And all of a sudden, whatever it is, the temporary person, and now you're running back so quickly, but you want to find the same kind of life, and that is not. That is why I say that different people wake up at different moments.
Sometimes they wake up when it's too late,
and sometimes they wake up when it's too late, and sometimes they fail to wake up because the other side overpowers them, and those are the people that have decided to be single mothers.
The alpha.
They're
like, so-called. Actually, at a point they just bury themselves into the work.
Exactly.
So they bury themselves into the work and make a lot of money until loneliness is the worst. It's worse than AIDS. It's worse than
any kind
diabetes.
of disease.
It's worse than high blood pressure. Loneliness is a killer.
Yeah.
So they only realize that they are lonely when they are in their late 40s.
But guess what? It hits them back.
And if you go on social media now, not only here in Uganda, by the way, the women, looking for men, most are 45 and above. Okay, call it 40 and above. You can look at Mukazi Mukuru. What's killing them is loneliness. And when they open up to speak, that's all that they talk about. I don't mind even if it's a 25-year-old, I'll take care of you. I don't mind it, I'll take care of you.
So now they're getting into the vicious cycle of what they ran away from.
Exactly. So the thing here is, let's go back to where we started. You had this faithful, nice guy, and you were introduced to a certain lifestyle.
Became the family,
then you traded your place here for this lifestyle.
Yeah.
So this lifestyle did not stop but continued until it got to a point where it needs this, but it can't get back to this. And that's why you are where you are right now.
So this thing is
so we have more young men in gym.
Yeah.
And they will tell you most of them are on a payroll. Most of them are on a payroll.
They have like 6 women.
Yeah.
And there's actually is it a woman I was listening to, or a man that I was listening, that's saying that some of these women are like, after she finishes with you, she sends you to another because she knows a string of other women that are
also the same. So that's why I said most of them are on payroll.
Wow.
They are being paid monthly.
So they don't work.
Yeah.
They stay in gym.
She has this guy, call it a dildo.
I know it's actually.
Yes, a dildo. Taina chayagala.
Because then
takwagala mumwana tayagala chincho nacho all that he wants is at least that kapato where I'm too lonely. Give me some excitement.
Which also does not satisfy.
Exactly.
It does not.
So whatever it is,
makes it worse.
Whatever it is, you must wake up now to pick the most important things. Don't trade.
They move together.
Don't trade the most important things for what does not last.
Yeah.
You have a husband who loves you and cares for you. You're a woman, and probably you're in that phase where you've been introduced to a certain era, and you're making a lot of money. Money should not lie to you that it can be your husband, or money should not lie to you that it can become family. Money is good, make the money, but remember that you have a home and a commitment. What this man needs is acceptance. What this man needs is respect, loyalty, peace,
devoting to him, and knowing that you're devoting yourself to your family.
Yeah.
And they can feel it.
Yeah.
They can feel it. If you're busy running away from them, if you're busy running away from you.
So as a man, what would I want? I would want a woman.
Yeah.
I don't want another man.
Yeah. What is irresistible to you?
What is irresistible to me, is the fact that I cannot be her.
Yeah.
As in the uniqueness in the way God made Hilda should put a smile on my face any day.
Yeah.
When I see you with my children, that is like the peak of my life. When you're dressing them up, when you're taking them to the bathroom, when you are feeding them, when you're fixing an egg for me, that's irresistible. That is priceless.
Yeah.
When you see me sad and ask, are you okay? Talk to me.
Care and support.
What's happening? What is stressing you? To me, that is irresistible. To me, that is priceless. To me, that is everything. Because no one is giving that to me out there.
Yeah.
Eri fasi.
I know.
Eri vao mpitewo. Oluda mukubo lyange. You're blocking me. Mvira kakokola because ebitia.
Your client wants.
You understand? What is irresistible at home? It's the peace,
the tranquility,
the respect, the love, the care, the emotional support, everything. That is irresistible. Any man would want to run back to that home, like for real. You're a gangster out there, you want to be a husband, you want to be someone's husband at home. You want to feel loved,
accepted,
and accepted,
fully accepted. I'm
not trying to prove a point to my children that I'm not trying to prove that I'm their father, and I'm not trying to prove that I'm your husband.
No.
I am home. All that I need is to be received as Tim. All my vitibwa titles, I want to walk home and be home in my shorts, without shoes, without a belt. I want to be home. You understand? Because I have nothing to impress. I have no business. I have no business trying to convince Ariella that I'm your daddy.
I know. Not to second guess yourself whether I will eat or I will not eat. Wow.
So that is irresistible.
Very irresistible.
To me as a man.
And I know that so many men share in some of these things, and these things are not hard. And I think if we heard from any man, and I know that if you're there, you know what is irresistible
to you.
Yeah. You know what is irresistible to you. You know that submission is something that is you can't just take your eyes off it, that you would want a woman, because respect goes with submission. When someone can submit to you, when someone can know that you're the one in my life and I respect you and I'm obedient, even when I have my own opinion, I will bring it in a way that
is
respectful and polite, and you know that. So I feel there's the softness that it brings. It cushions a lot from the hustle that you said, from the fast and the hard life, and now there is a cushioning that I have a fallback position. And this fallback position is unconditional. Unconditional. Whether I come back crying, whether I come back beaten, whether I come back, whether I call and you know there is something wrong that has happened, I know that I'm going to receive that softness. I'm going to receive that embrace. I will be surrounded by love, and I think that is what every man would want.
Absolutely.
We don't need to stipulate a name one by one, but we talk about gratefulness. Yeah, it's very hard for you as a woman, for as long as ochalimu akamiro kano aka, you know, I need more, and a lot should be done for me, and a lot should be done for me. There are those women that are just, you know, takers. But when you show someone that you are grateful, gratefulness multiplies. Gratefulness holds space for other people. Gratefulness remembers, the kind of sacrifices, the kind of compromises that have been made along the way. And it's one of those things most men have said it really helps, you know. And some of them will say, because I've heard some of them say in Luganda, tasima, you know, ngachimutawanya gatasima ngom kati chichi ngacheta chitegera akane mukazi tasima obana kunyumizako. I had a friend omuchiga. We go to a restaurant, we have a meal, and after eating, they give us a bill. And while I was paying a bill, he saw me put in a tip. And he said, why are you giving the waiter money? I said, it's one way to say thank you. I said, thanking her for what? Why are you thanking her? Ngamba, they have served us well. Weren't you attended to bulungi? Aren't you happy? Ngamba, you paid for the food.
But isn't there a salary on that? There is a salary for her for doing that.
On that food.
Why are you giving her that tip? I was like, so tell me, my Muchiga friend, when your wife cooks,
my Muchiga friend.
Yes, when your wife cooks at home, so you don't say thank you? He was like, no, I don't. Even when I bring food, she doesn't say thank you because she knows it's my duty to bring food.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like, yeah, when I come with my Vera from Dakar, she just grabs and takes. They
so
said,
when she cooks,
so when she cooks, I just eat. She has, I don't say thank you. I also put the plate there. I was like, wow, what a culture.
Yeah, but gratefulness, I think.
But I think
it's humane.
I think to say thank you is doing beyond responsibility of just paying a bill. It is gratitude that what you have done is beyond words. What you've done is more than what I'm paying for. What you have done is you've served to a part of my need that is so crucial, that I feel I hold so dear. And it's not just about you cooking for me. It's not just about you buying the food. It's about you, the thoughtfulness.
Yes.
That you think we are this important to
Exactly,
you. That you think we really care. Because it's possible we can buy the food and leave it there.
And leave it there. And no one would. And by the way, someone can decide.
Yeah.
So even going an extra mile is a decision.
So gratefulness is key.
Very key.
Yeah.
Very key.
And we don't say thank you. It's because the reason that's why we say thank you is we're dealing with a certain ego and pride, and we're starving it. That's why we go back to God. You remember the story of the lepers?
Yes.
Healed, I think there were 10. Okay, and so only one who came back to say thank you.
Yeah, and he was completely
and
healed.
was completely healed. So one, he healed all of them.
Yes.
But the completion of the healing was with
Thanksgiving and gratefulness.
So it's important to say thank you.
And even in the petty things, guys, you're not just grateful for, I mean, these days, there's a certain, I think, level of gratefulness where you're like, for example, even about your own life, and you're like, you know what, I mean, children, it's not that I had to have them, you get it, and you're like, so if you can be that grateful to God even for the simple things, and God, I can walk like it's a small thing. So even in a home, I feel there has to be that level of gratefulness, or everyone has to get to that level of gratefulness, and say that, you know what, if, I mean, we have made this home and both of us come to this home, come back to this home every day and make it work. You could have decided otherwise.
Or else,
you get it.
Look around you. Look around you. How many are still coming back home?
I know.
So if you can still come back home,
be grateful.
Be grateful.
Be grateful that, I mean, that you can even cuddle. Yeah. Be grateful that you can see
that today is this day.
Today is this day, and we are where you are. Be grateful. I also wanted to hint on an issue of emotional maturity and being able to handle challenges with grace.
Okay. Oh, that's important.
Because some people just can't.
Yeah.
And so it causes, you already have a problem, but they cause more, they antagonize more. I think you've seen women who are like that. But once you have a woman that is emotionally mature, there is a way when they handle things with grace, they're able to handle it within. And it's not antagonizing, it's not pulling to kill, it's not, as in, they will be fair, and they will do a fair judgment of the situation and be able to respond, not just react, but to respond to it.
Tough one for women.
It's a tough one
for women.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Our job as
being
men,
emotional.
Yes, our job again. I think mostly when there is a situation that is alarming, when there is a situation that calls for that kind of, prepare yourself for the worst. Okay? But then what will help you as a man is the degree of maturity and calmness that you put into it. Kubanga chibadeo.
Yeah.
Don't expect the woman to be, actually I would reverse it, Hilda. I would prefer a woman who shouts, nakubendulu nakubasama,
antagonizing ebera
antuliriza nasuka nabikola byonna byonna namala nakakana omukazi ategeere nnyo mu mbeera ezimu kwezo atiisa
nenga
atiisa kyetaagisa ye nga ye they can be trained too,
yes.
But kyeraliikiriza when a woman is too understanding and too sane.
And that's the power. That's the power of being feminine.
Yeah.
That is the power of being mysterious. That not everything must be thrown out there, and everyone must know you, and everything. That is the power to conceal. That is what makes you feminine.
I know.
Otherwise, the masculinity has an ego that it wants to be seen, it wants to be heard, and it wants to throw commands.
I know.
Yeah. So that gives you power as a woman, and you know, the codependence and dependence, and it coming in waves, and not just being the Miss Independent. I'm going to do my own things, I'm going to decide my own things, I'm going to whatever it is, it's about me, because that does not build.
It breaks.
It breaks. So for us to say that this is a feminine, irresistible energy, because it's a mindset, it's an energy, it's an openness.
You learn to be involving.
You learn to be involving, and know that, by the way, there are times where I'm going to depend, and it's okay, because some of them find it intimidating to even try to depend. Yeah. Some
of the issues, mostly when it comes to some of those things, is sometimes in the area of finances.
Yeah.
You earn more, he earns less. There's a decision, for example, to buy a property, and you have the money. So I would expect you as a woman, you're not entirely depending on your man, but the track record does not lie.
Yeah.
He's a visionary man, he's a good man, and he has proved it. when he said you are going to buy a plot, at least yagulayo ko plot wakalaba. Enfuna ye ntono, ofuna nnyo, oyina nnyo. Don't come and tell him, nasaze wenda gula ennyumba egundi.
I know.
You
have
come,
totally excluded.
Yes, you've excluded him. Involve him. Unless if you're saying you're living two separate lives. But if you're building together as a family, involve. Mugambe, honey, I have some money saved up. There's this house that they showed me that is nice. Do you have some time to get to Jidabe? You're involving him. You're involving him. Much as it's your money.
And your tone will never lie.
You're feminine.
How you bring it, yeah.
And you're mature.
Softness, yes. And emotional regulation.
Yes, yes.
And
that he deserves to be part of the decision.
Yeah, this is a package.
Because much as you're buying a house of 500 million and the last plot he bought was of 30 million, the difference, yes, is huge. But when he was doing so, he involved you. Yeah. You walked the mile. You walked the whole journey with him. He could have paid that plot for a year. Ate ya mwembi, ya mwenga family. So if you're adding value to this family, involve him. So sometimes every single kuluma abantu, and that's how men become insecure. They just find out that
Zimba mayumba.
Aina mayumba wa? Aina mayumba byapa biri wa muganda we.
And I know some of you are watching and you're saying, but some of them beba bireta beba kolachi. No, not for this program. That will be for another program. Because I know for sure that sometimes.
That's why I said, even if someone was saying that track record does not lie.
Exactly.
Track record should be the pad.
Should be the pad, yes. When you see someone who is involving, someone who really wants to build a home, who wants to have a lasting home.
Why do you spit in their face when you have the opportunity to?
Exactly. If someone is doing otherwise,
that's different.
Then we need to talk about something. We need to address certain things. But when someone is good, you know, do not lose, just like we say, do not lose gold and trade it for stories, yeah, or for vanity. Your job will never be your family. Your money will never be your family. It comes and goes. Property, I mean, be jomulido, the bigenda all the time, or anything can happen. But a family that you have poured your sweat into, your time into, your love into, your unconditional presence into, that will give back to you in so many ways. So many ways. So I hope that we take these. They look like light points, but they are very heavy, and then very hard to do. So your choice to come back, your choice to tone down, your choice, I will tell you, you're doing, there are some of you that have been in that space of 2025, I want to be a better woman. Yeah, or 20, whatever it is, I want to be, it's on your list, but you just don't know how you're going to tackle it, or you don't know whether it's worth it. I will tell you, it is very achievable. It is very worth it. There is no way a woman can create a home in a survival mode. And when the Bible says that a foolish woman breaks her home with her own hands, yeah, a foolish woman, that means a wise woman builds her home with her own hands. And it's a decision to put down everything else that was consuming that and saying, what is standing in my way? Why can't we be happy? And you're not measuring your happiness with anyone's happiness. Let me tell you, people are out there faking happiness. People are out there holding hands so that they can be on Instagram holding hands. So do not look at any particular marriage and say, oh, I want to be like that. I want to be the best version. Create the best version of your own marriage. Okay? Because you're two dynamic people. You're two different people. You're two people that came together with love or in love. You give back to these children in love. So nurture your home with love. If that means compromising somewhere, if it means sacrificing somewhere, sometimes, by the way, you have to say no to certain things that were good so that you can have a greater thing. They were good, they were not bad. And that is where choice is very hard, because it's easy to choose between bad and good. But it's hard to choose between good and good. That this was good, but this is also good. Or better. You get it? So sometimes it just feels right and good feels very hard to choose, but you can say no. And
yes, and the difference between the two is in the long term.
Exactly.
And the long term here is,
and you need it later more than even today.
Yeah. And the long term is when I'm in my 60s.
Yeah.
when I'm frail and weak, when I'm in my 70s, I'm frail and I don't want to look back and there's no one giving me a kagiras kwa katunda.
I know.
Okay? Someone to remind me of the precious memories and laugh about our 40s and laugh about our 30s.
Yeah.
And there's no one who will do that apart from the woman that you go
You're running away.
There's no one who will do that if it's not that man who
husband,
go Jolonga.
yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You're the one who
and the children.
It will be the one who will be accomplishing
everything you had started.
That's why I use the word long term, because you may have the money, it will pay the bills, it will pay for the hospital, but it will not be your wife, it will not be your husband. Just the emotional support that you will need, it will not be. I remember of a certain man who was dying and very rich, and money was everything to him. So in his dying moments, every time he would feel like he's dying, he would tell them, withdraw money and bring it here. And they would withdraw billions of money and bring, and he would sleep in his money. Sleep in his money while playing around with his money.
Not satisfying at all.
Thank you.
Not satisfying.
Thank you. So he died with his money.
That's a very miserable
So I would rather that I die in the loving arms of my wife.
Yeah.
Because no one is going to remember how much money I had.
But we'll remember how much
But my daughter will tell the story about my father and mother who were present in my life while raising me up. At least that is a legacy. At least you lived for something worth.
Yes.
And then even when we report in heaven, surprisingly, money was to trade. You remember the story of the parables?
Yeah.
That money did not go to heaven. That's why Jesus said at a certain point that look at this fool. He doesn't know that his life can be taken away from you. You understand?
Yeah.
So money one no, but there is more than money when we get there. And the thing here is, I don't want
to trade,
to make money the most important aspect of my life. Much as I need money to do a lot of things here, I'll make the money, and I'll make sure that this money is value addition. Not just to me, but to the most important things in my life, including the people that I care for.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, I should be remembered for the things,
the legacy
that I did.
And how you made them feel. That's the most important thing.
That's why I use the word
and
long term. So long term is the wisdom that you need in order to choose better instead of the so-called good. That good looks so sweet now, but I want better for my long term.
So I will wait for it. I will work for it.
Actually, there's a lot of work in achieving it. A lot of it. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of patience.
Self-control.
You know, everything, you know. And putting down your own pride, being prayerful. Someone said one of the worst enemies of humanity is pride, greed, and lust. And he said, those, pride, greed, and lust. But I like the pride bit of it. The pride, you overcome it with only one thing: prayerfulness. That prayer means I am not enough. I can't do this on my own. I depend on God entirely to overcome everything that I see before me. So God, I'm in your hands. No matter how rich I am, no matter how educated I am, no matter how wise I am, I depend on you, God, for my day to day. So prayer. Greed, you overcome it with giving. That you can support another human being. That so that's how you overcome greed. That I can, for example, myself, there is no term when kids are going to school that I don't support at least a family or two or three families to take their kids back to school. And guess what? I'm overcoming something. Yes, that's godly.
Connects you to,
that's godly. So I don't want to be greedy, and I don't want to be known for being greedy.
I want this. This is for me. This is
grab that. You keep
grabbing everywhere. That's true.
Greedy people buy no mutima mutono. You understand? I would want to share what I have with others.
That's
I would want to.
happiness.
I would want to, and that's how you
fulfilling.
overcome. Good. So, and last is kusiba nti sometimes osalawo omubiri guno n'ogukomerera ogamba sijja kuwa mmere. I will not. But when the body is demanding for a woman, you say, I will not give it to you.
You say no. Yeah. Become adamant. We love you guys. From us to you is, we pray that you can be able to create happy and lasting marriages. Bless you.